lives. The officials from provincial government and of course representatives from the C20 and the Y20, civil society as well as the youth. As you know, with the G20 they have parallel structures that also meet, discuss and hopefully influence and hopefully get some of their demands met through the G20 process. So you are welcome. My fellow academics from the university, you are welcome, as well as those from the media, and of course the most important constituency, our students. They are all welcome here at the University of Johannesburg.
Realized that they could no longer do it all by themselves, and that developing countries were increasingly becoming significant players in the global economy. So, and because they were suffering the worst effects of, well, as they perceived it, the financial crisis, they brought in the bigger the economies of the South, including us. So it then expanded to what it was until 2023. So we had 19 countries and the EU as one, which made it 20. And then in 2023, during India's presidency, we admitted the AU, which was a very significant advancement for us as African countries. So we now...
Ashraf comes from the C20, which is the think tank 20, and I need to also say this, that as Gauteng was organizing this engagement, he was prodding us and saying there is this dialogue that's going to happen. Make sure you interact with these people so that you are also there in that particular engagement. And that means that he was not in it for himself because T20 is covered. He was saying we want the other voices as well. So that is the challenge that we have as C20, to ensure that we link up with Y20, with T20, Women 20, to ensure that we advocate for D20, which is Disability 20, to ensure that the issues that we advocate for with our government and our government interacting with other governments, because we will not be there at the G20 summit. Only our policy pack will find its way there. But what we are doing, MEC, is that as the departments are having this working group, we are inserting ourselves into those working groups. Hence the working groups we have are linked to what government is doing. We are also intervening in those, because the normal process is that this is for and about governments. But we are also saying, well, here in South Africa, if the government is to articulate what we want, let us engage with you at that very beginning, so that we don't fight for space when it comes to us just submitting a document that, as you have articulated, will be meaningless because it has not been integrated, our issues have not been integrated.
So the last thematic priority that we will be focusing on is social development and fighting inequalities. I don't have to say much on this. Comrade Mabalane has covered this one quite extensively, but this is the broad one where we're locating issues around gender equality, food security, universal health coverage and the national health insurance, adolescent and youth health in particular, eradicating teenage pregnancies and addressing the scourge of gender-based violence. But really being led by President Ramaphosa's clarion call of leaving no one behind and ensuring that this is a people's G20 and a young people's G20 in particular.
Right here in our province. So besides the fact that we have this big event coming, we actually have an opportunity even beforehand to start having those discussions informally, to start understanding what the perspective is that many of these countries have, and strengthening and fostering those relations. And it's not just about the national to national discourse. That's very important, of course, and the multilateral platforms are very important. But again, what we know is that 67% or thereabout of people in South Africa, and now that number's actually even becoming a global figure, 67% or thereabout of people live in urban areas, in cities. So it's very important to also ensure that we align policy, that we align global agenda to the agenda of cities. and particularly city regions, which are really becoming a lot more prominent in terms of the multilateral discourse, because where these programs, where these initiatives and this change is going to be implemented is going to be right here in the cities that we live in. We can't talk about social justice or economic justice without talking about spatial justice. We can't talk about equality of opportunity without talking about our very own jobs crisis that we have here, right here under our nose. So the perspective of the province is that besides just hosting this wonderful occasion, we also need to walk the talk. We need to be able to demonstrate what a province, what a country that is truly grounded on the principle of human rights looks like. And as you'll know, in my role as MEC of Agriculture, the one human right that consumes my mind most days is the issue of hunger and food insecurity. It is an absolute scandal that in a province like ours, which is the third largest economy on this continent and the biggest in the country, we have close to 25% of households that are food insecure. In other words, they are not guaranteed a meal a day.